In other news, following the vote in Parliament yesterday to impeach Western Cape Judge President Hlophe and Judge Nkola Motata, we look at what happens now in terms of the process. Yesterday, MPs voting overwhelmingly to remove Hlophe after a JSC Tribunal found that he should face removal from office. Let's chat about the road ahead with Lawson Naidoo, CASAC's Executive Secretary. Thank you so much, Lawson, for your time. I mean, before we even get to the process, it's taken 15 years to get to this particular moment. Your reaction?
Thank you, Bongiwe. Yes, it has indeed taken an extraordinarily long time for both of these cases involving Judge President Hlophe as well as Judge Motata to reach the National Assembly. Well over 15 years in both cases. There have been numerous legal challenges by these judges along the way. But finally, the Judicial Service Commission had executed its constitutional mandate to conduct the investigation, and the finding of gross misconduct in both cases was then referred to the National Assembly. So it's effectively a three-stage process, with the Judicial Service Commission first having to make a finding of gross misconduct. Parliament was then vote on the removal of those judges from office, and the final stage is where the President signs off on it.
And Section 177, of the Constitution is very clear, and it lays out the process that after the JSC finds against the judge, then the National Assembly calls for them to be removed by a resolution adopted with a supporting vote of at least 2/3 of its members. Then it goes to the President. So a lot of people are asking what happens then when it reaches the President. Can he send this matter back to Parliament, asking more questions? Does he have even the jurisdiction or even the discretion to do that? Or does he do as he's directed by the House?
Well, it's quite clear from the Constitution, Bongiwe, that the President has no discretion in this regard. It says that the President must remove a judge once the National Assembly has passed a resolution with the requisite majority, which it has. So the President is obliged to formally inform both judges that they have been removed from office and that their benefits will be terminated immediately. And this is simply a formality, because the President is the appointing authority in the cases of judges, and therefore he is given that responsibility to terminate their tenure in office as well.
And some of our viewers asking again as well to say that what happens then in a case when there's an appeal by the two judges? Is there even room for that?
Well, I don't think there is any room left anymore. We know that Judge President Hlophe has a matter still pending in the Constitutional Court, but whether he gets leave to appeal to that court is yet to be determined. But on the basis of how that particular aspect of his litigation has happened so far, it's highly unlikely, given that the Supreme Court of Appeal turned him down. So I think this really is the end of the road for both of these judges, and they need to accept and respect the decisions of the constitutionally mandated processes. They've been investigated and found not to meet the high standard that we expect from judges in South Africa. And this is, a vindication of the accountability of judges. And it's an unfortunate process in some senses, but a necessary one in order to restore respect for the rule of law.
And Lawson, let's go back to even the earlier point, because looking at the length of time that it's taken to get to this particular point, one wonders then, what about our processes, if at all, needs to be looked at in order to ensure that we do not find ourselves in this position again, where it takes even 30 years or longer, to be able to ensure accountability?
No, absolutely. I think that's the key lesson to be learned here, and this is something for the Judicial Service Commission to take into account. And they really need to focus on the mechanisms and the procedures internally within the Judicial Service Commission to ensure that the complaints against judges are dealt with speedily, with full regard to a fair process. But it cannot take as long as this, and it should not take as long as this for complaints against judges, particularly where there are serious complaints, as there have been in these two cases. And there will be other instances where there are serious complaints against judges, and the JSC really needs to move with greater speed in order to maintain public confidence in the independence of the judiciary, which, as I say, is a key feature of the strengthening of the rule of law.
And Lawson, then, something else that we've also been watching here on the channel, and we're about to bring that report to the viewers, is what has been going on, the developments as the probe continues into, Judge Nana Makubele as well. We've seen a start, stop in that particular process. And I wonder, what are your impressions as you watch how it's continuing to unfold?
Well, again, I think, that's a case that may well come to this stage, once those investigative processes have concluded, and the JSC has made a determination of whether or not she is guilty of gross misconduct or not. And if they find that she is, then we'll inevitably have to follow a similar process in terms of Parliament having to consider a removal from office as well.
All right, Lawson, thank you so much for breaking it down for us and our viewers tonight. Appreciate it.